Hi, this is Evan Center of Center Institute, and I have a challenge for you today. I challenge you to run your business, not just for the good of your clients, but for your own good. A lot of us get into this business to help people, and that's good. I think that needs to remain a part of your work. If it didn't, you probably wouldn't keep on doing it because it's hard work. But I'm challenging you today to start to think about running your business for your own good. And what I mean by that is really thinking about every component of your practice and thinking about what would work best for you. I know, crazy, right? But you are a business owner. You're not working for an agency for a reason, right? And so what I'm asking you to do is to take some ownership, to decide what schedule works best for you. And before you get into the buts and to trying to bend that to figure out what actually is going to work in reality, I really want you to just think about what would be great, what would be ideal for you. So what schedule would be great for you? Does it mean starting later in the morning? Does it mean not working in the evenings maybe? Not working on the weekend? Maybe you do want to work on the weekend. Maybe you do like working in the evenings so that you can do something else during the day, right? I have a good friend who's a therapist who works exclusively in the afternoons and evenings so he can spend his days skiing and fly fishing. Great, right? If that's how your schedule works and that's what works for you as a human being, that's awesome. But whatever that is, I want you to think about it. I want you to think about what schedule would be ideal for you. And along with schedule, I want you to think bigger picture schedule as well. I want you to think, what amount of vacation would work well for you? How many times a year are you going away? How long? When do you get to have a staycation? So really think about your schedule both on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, and really think about what would work ideally for you as a human being. What would nurture you? What would rejuvenate you and refresh you? What would send you back to your practice feeling really alive and ready to re-engage in the work? You know, whether that's not having a late evening and an early morning back to back, or that is taking a 3-week vacation in December and going somewhere warm. I say this as I look outside and it's snowing. Think about what kind of time off in your weeks would help you be able to do the volunteer work that you want to do. I was talking about this with somebody earlier because I'm starting a high school, and we're a nonprofit, 501c3, I think is what it's called. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't, I go through phases in my life where I'm like, oh, I don't volunteer that much. And then I actually look at it and I'm like, oh, actually I volunteer a lot. I'm opening a high school, so that means I'm volunteering 15 to 30 hours a week. But I've got a practice that supports that, right? I couldn't do that work if I didn't have a practice that supported it. So I'm not asking you to be selfish, although I hope that you will be selfish, because it doesn't all have to be about loafing around and doing nothing. But it means opening up your schedule, creating the schedule that you want for yourself as a human. And if that means volunteering, great. If it means spending time with your sweetheart or your family, great. If that means spending time with animals, awesome. If that means taking care of your aging parents, perfect. If that means skiing and fly fishing, great. Whatever that means for you, it doesn't matter. And it's not a question of selfish or not selfish. This is really about owning your bossness, right? You're the boss. Own it. Figure out what makes sense. I also want you to think about what makes sense in terms of income. I know, crazy talk. But what does make sense in terms of income? Would $10,000 a month be great? Would $20,000 a month gross be great? What do you really want to be bringing in? Now, don't go down the road of, well, I really want 15K a month, but that's not really possible because blah, 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 blah. Don't do the because, don't do the buts. I'm just asking you to think about what would be ideal for you in your practice. I also want you to think about what would be ideal in terms of non-practice, direct client activities. Maybe you've heard you should do social media marketing, but you hate being on Facebook. Well, let's not go there then. I want you to really think about what are those things that you actually really like doing when you're not seeing clients. This video is part of that for me. I realized a while ago, and I think I vlogged about this, but I struggle to sit down and write a blog every week. And then I realized, okay, well, I don't mind just talking. I hate public speaking, like in front of a huge audience, but if 100 people watch my video, that's way less anxiety provoking for me than it would be to stand up in front of 100 people. So figure out what feels good, what feels right for you. And if there are other things that you want to do, I know that there are a lot of therapists who want to be public speaking, who want to be teaching, who want to be getting out into their communities and sharing the knowledge that they have about a particular mental health issue, or talking with providers about something that impacts their work, like primary care providers about something that impacts their work that might not be totally on their radar. So think about that. What would be ideal? Like, what would feed you as a therapist and as a human being? Write it down. If you want to share it down below in the comments to create some accountability for yourself, awesome. Go for it. I would love to read all of those comments and support each other in this process. All right. Talk soon. Bye.